Hi everyone, Mitchell Simpson here, Competitions Manager at AFL Queensland. Welcome to the first episode of our Behind the Rules video series, where we'll take a deep dive into the rules relevant to the McDonald's South East Queensland Junior competitions. Our aim over the next few episodes is to provide our participants, coaches, families, and more importantly, our greater footy community with the context and understanding behind what goes into the data, research, and decision-making processes that shape how our great game gets played. Throughout this series, you'll hear from an expert in the field and a special guest, former Brisbane Lions legend and parent of one of our current participants who'll give their insight into the framework. But before we get into that, I'd like to welcome Richie Lyons, AFL Queensland's Growth, Participation and Operations Manager, who's going to give us a bit of an insight into what we're going to cover off on over the next few episodes. Richie.
Thank you, Mitchell. Glad to be here and looking forward to the chat.
Yeah, very good. So before we do get into the detail of the framework and what we're going to be talking about, can you just give us a little bit of an insight into your role here at AFL Queensland?
Yeah, certainly. My title's a bit of a mouthful. It's the Growth, Participation Operations Manager. So basically I oversee everything from Auskick through to our senior state league competitions. I've been lucky enough to be involved in the AFL industry up in Queensland for a touch over 20 years now. So I've been able to see the game evolve a lot from when we were probably struggling to get kids on the field to now where we're busting at the seams and you know we actually have some capacity issues. So the game's evolved a lot over that time and pleasingly we're adjusting with that to make sure the game's as easy as possible to be able to play.
So let's have a little chat about the rules themselves and why we have them in place. So can you take us through some of the background of what we're going to be going through?
Yeah, certainly. The national match policy was actually developed back in the early 2000s and then over the last 20 years or so there's been a number of reviews and a number of external institutes engaged to be able to look at that and review it. So in around 2013, there was some other changes and there was some campaigns around what the best possible experience would be for our junior participants. Since then, we've done our own research as well. Just last year, we filmed around 36 youth games of football and really analysed them by looking at the stats of how many kicks people are getting, how many involvements in the game there were. So there's been a myriad of I suppose, reviews and research projects going on. I was fortunate enough over the last couple of years to be part of a national working group looking specifically at the junior and youth rules across Queensland, across Australia, sorry. And what we are trying to get to is some consistency around what the game looks like across all around Australia. So what we would like to do is if you're walking into a game at Maroochydore, it looks very similar to what you would experience in Western Australia or Victoria, for instance.
Yeah, so one thing we haven't sort of touched about yet is how hotly contested Queensland is and how competitive the market is, particularly with some of our competitor sports. So we're not the only code that are looking at age-appropriate rules, are we?
Yeah, certainly not. I think we've probably been leaders in this space, but certainly other sports are definitely jumping on board. And Queensland is one of the most competitive sporting landscapes in Australia, if not the world. Like we have all these other sports to compete with: rugby league, rugby union, soccer, netball. But not only that, we have the environmental, I suppose, factors as well, like the beach and the beautiful weather that we have here in Queensland. So it is difficult, but that's a big part of this work is making sure that. That we have the right product at the right place at the right time. So it might look slightly different to the traditional formats of the game previously, but yeah, we still want to be leaders in this space and making sure that we're always evolving with the current day trends.
Very good. Look, thanks for that, Richie, taking a broad look into the AFL junior rules and giving us a bit of an overview of what we're set up to talk about. We do have a lot to get through over the coming 4 episodes, so I look forward to chatting with our special guests in the future episodes in what the behind the scenes looks like in a little bit more detail. So thanks everyone for tuning in today on our first episode of Behind the Rules. In episode 2, please join us. We'll be joined by AFL Queensland's Analytics and Alternative Formats lead, Brad Howard, and a very special guest of ours, Brisbane Lions legend, recent Queensland Hall of Famer, and more importantly, parent of one of our participants in our great game, Simon Black. So we'll take a deep dive over the next few episodes and look forward to having everyone on the journey with us. So if you are watching and new to our game, please make sure you head to play.afl and find it your way to play today.